What's up? This is Neil on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. And buy yourself some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium because it's a good thing to do. This is a story about a lot of things, actually. It's about nuclear power rocket engines. It's about space flight. It's about space travel. It's about a lot of things. Nothing I haven't already talked to you guys about before. It's just someone else is bringing it to your attention other than me on this one. So let's see. It is from NSN. Make sure to like. Let's see what they have to say about nuclear space travel and how it'll affect us.
Humanity aims to explore beyond the inner planets, reaching destinations like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
Oh my God.
Our current propulsion systems, chemical
What's up,
rockets,
Ben?
and solar power face limitations. Recent research presented at the 56th Lunar and Planetary Science Conference introduces fission-powered propulsion, a nuclear technology that could address these challenges.
Russia worked on that in 2024.
Fission propulsion offers a reliable, long-lasting power source, enabling deep space missions to distant planets and beyond. In this video, we'll explore how this innovative technology could transform space travel and expand humanity's reach in the cosmos.
Hey, that's
Fission-powered propulsion represents a fundamental shift in how we think about powering space exploration. But what exactly does that mean? To break it down, fission is the process of splitting atomic nuclei, releasing large amounts of energy. This energy can be used to either generate electricity for electric propulsion systems or directly produce thrust using nuclear thermal propulsion. At the heart of this technology are two main approaches: fission electric propulsion and fission thermal propulsion. FEP utilizes a nuclear reactor to generate electricity, which is then used to power electric thrusters. These thrusters are highly efficient for deep space travel, offering the advantage of gradually increasing velocity over long distances. This method is particularly useful for missions that need to travel beyond the reach of the sun, where solar power would be ineffective. FTP, on the other hand, involves using the heat produced by a nuclear reactor to create thrust directly. This method is more similar to traditional rocket propulsion, but is far more efficient. By using nuclear heat, spacecraft can achieve much higher thrust-to-weight ratios than with chemical propulsion. What makes fission propulsion stand out is its high energy density. Unlike chemical propulsion, which burns fuel and even long-term habitability.
It's an ongoing story, Finn, so I'm not doing anything about it till I get more information, because I do not like putting out half-truths. So that's why I'm not talking about that story right now.
System.
But you are right. There's a lot more to it. I don't see why two firemen would be ambushed with high-power weapons that are more high-powered than supposedly deer rifles. But that's another story.
But the implications of this technology extend even further. Consider the possibility of interstellar missions to explore other star systems. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light-years away. Using current propulsion technologies, a journey to Proxima Centauri would take tens of thousands of years.
Oh my God.
However, fission propulsion, combined with electric or ion propulsion systems, could drastically reduce the time it would take to reach such distant stars. For missions to other star systems, high-thrust nuclear thermal propulsion could be used to accelerate a spacecraft to high speeds and quickly exit the solar system. Once the spacecraft is in deep space, long-duration electric propulsion powered by nuclear reactors could maintain the spacecraft's velocity for the remainder of the journey. While we're not yet close to achieving interstellar travel, nuclear propulsion is one of the few technologies that could make such missions conceivable in the future. In addition to expanding our ability to explore distant worlds, fission-powered propulsion could also make it possible to send probes to exoplanets, planets orbiting other stars. These missions could provide data that helps us understand whether life could exist elsewhere in the galaxy. It's a groundbreaking shift in our capacity to explore the cosmos, and fission propulsion could be the key to realizing these ambitious goals.
Yeah, NSN.
So, what does all of this mean for the future of
Happening
space
advanced space
exploration?
travel with nuclear propulsion.
First, fission propulsion could play a
What's up,
critical role
ATM?
in human exploration of the outer planets. Mars missions, in particular, could benefit from the advantages offered by nuclear propulsion, significantly reducing travel times and increasing payload capacity. With reliable nuclear power systems on board, astronauts could have the energy they need to power life support, scientific instruments, and communication systems throughout their journey. Beyond Mars, fission propulsion would allow humanity to set its sights on the outer planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
What about my
These
units?
planets, along with their moons, are some of the most intriguing targets for future exploration, offering the potential for discovering new forms of life or unlocking the secrets of our solar system's formation. Nuclear-powered propulsion would allow us to explore these worlds in ways that were previously unimaginable. But the benefits don't stop with missions to our solar system. As humanity pushes into interstellar space, nuclear propulsion could make it possible to send probes to the nearest stars, such as Proxima Centauri or Alpha Centauri. While we're still a long way from sending humans beyond the solar system, sending robotic probes could allow us to gather data from planets around other stars, an entirely new frontier in space exploration.
Oh, that's enough. It's like a new star in the sky. But that's not what this is about. We're going to talk about some other crap here. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. This one pissed Russia off. You guys ought to like it. Let's see. Share screen. Share screen. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you guys love this one. This is about how we screwed Russia on the Alaskan deal.
Alaska shimmered under the midnight sun as a swarm of U.S. miners clawed through gravel with pickaxes and improvised sluices. Word had spread that gold dust lay right on the surface.
This is from
No
Incredible
tunnels, no
Stories.
shafts. Just scoop, pan, and strike it rich. Half a world away, headlines in Russian
done 2
newspapers
days ago.
hinted at something more ominous.
Popular notions of Alaska are for the most part all wrong. It is the least understood of any United States territory.
America had not only taken Alaska, it was draining its untapped wealth with shocking ease. What they found wasn't just gold, it was confirmation that the Tsar had miscalculated badly. There was much more to Alaska than the Russians realized until it was too late, and the realization left Russia speechless. From imperial vision to imperial exit, Russia's path to Alaska began not with conquest, but curiosity. In the 18th century, Tsarist ambitions met natural geography as fur traders and explorers moved east across Siberia in pursuit of sable pelts and maritime access. The sea otter, then one of the most lucrative animals in the global fur trade, drew Russian attention across the Bering Strait. It was the Danish navigator Vitus Bering, sailing
Vitus.
under Russian command,
Haven't heard that
who
name.
confirmed in 1741 that the landmass we
Hi,
now
I'm
call
Vitus.
Alaska was not just
Oh,
reachable,
Yulberg.
it was rich. By the 1780s, Russian outposts appeared along the Alaskan coast. The Russian-American Company, effectively a state-backed monopoly, controlled trade and built settlements, including Novo-Arkhangelsk, present-day Sitka. But the endeavor was never fully sustainable. Harsh conditions, long supply lines, hostile relations with indigenous peoples, and competition from British and American ships strained the empire's Arctic reach. Profits dwindled. By the mid-1800s, maintaining the colony became an expensive liability.
This is one of
The
best
Crimean
deals
War
America
between
ever made.
1853 to 1856 further weakened the Russian treasury and exposed the vulnerability of far-flung territories.
Back then, during 1853 to 1856, Congress had passed a law in 1836 allowing banks to create dollar bills. So banks were creating dollar bills, not the federal government back then. That's why we were able to buy Alaska. We had a lot of extra money.
If Britain could threaten Russian holdings in the Black Sea, What was stopping it from seizing Alaska next? Geostrategic logic shifted. In the view of Tsar Alexander II and his advisors,
This is funny as shit. Listen to this, guys, real close.
Alaska was no longer a frontier. It was a trap. Losing it to a rival would be humiliating. Selling it, on the other hand, would be prudent and would put Russia in a better position. Or so it was assumed. Discreet inquiries began in the early 1860s. Russia approached several European powers but found little interest. The United States, however, was receptive. Secretary of State William H. Seward, a firm believer in American expansion, had long eyed Alaska as a future outpost of Pacific influence. Negotiations.
Okay, that also is very important. The U.S. president was big time into American expansionism. America was created as an expansionist nation. I did a show about 5 or 6, 7 months ago about how America had just consumed 2.5 times the size of Texas land underneath the Pacific Ocean, increasing our national territory. And I knew for a fact, and I know for a fact, we're going to end up consuming Canada as well, and Greenland, because we were created as a nation to grow and expand, not stay within certain set borders. If you understand that, you'll have a better chance of understanding economics of the future.
Moved swiftly after the end of the Civil War. On March 30th, 1867, the United States agreed to purchase Alaska for $7.2 million, or roughly 2 cents per acre. The deal was signed without public fanfare. Critics in Congress and the press mocked the purchase as Seward's folly, or icebox territory. The land seemed barren, remote, and economically useless. In short, many viewed it as a huge waste of money. What neither side grasped at the time was what lay beneath the tundra. While Russia saw Alaska as a sparsely populated wilderness, the United States had unknowingly acquired one of the most resource-rich regions on Earth. In time, U.S. miners would strip the surface of western Alaska, and what they unearthed would lead the world, and especially Russia, to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about this cold, forgotten corner of the empire. The 1867 bargain: numbers, motives, and doubters. The Alaska Purchase was finalized with minimal ceremony but maximum skepticism. When Secretary of State William H. Seward presented the agreement to Congress, many were baffled. Why spend $7.2 million, roughly $150 million in today's dollars, on an expanse of frozen wilderness most Americans couldn't locate on a map? The 586,412 square miles of land transferred from the Russian Empire to the United States were largely unmapped, sparsely populated, and nearly impossible to govern at scale.
And they sold it to us because they didn't want the English to have it, because they were their number one rivals. And look what happened.
Alaska's perceived value lay mostly in naval strategy, not mineral wealth. Yet Seward saw potential. He believed that future generations would see Alaska as a gateway to Asian markets and a stepping stone for American trade dominance in the Pacific. For Russia, the motivation was simpler: cash and caution. The Crimean War had nearly bankrupted the empire. Rebuilding its navy, fortifying the western frontier, and repaying foreign debt required funding. Alaska had become a liability with no clear path to profitability. The Russian government feared losing it to Britain without compensation if tensions escalated in the Pacific. From a diplomatic standpoint, selling to the United States served dual purposes. It removed a burdensome outpost, while strengthening a growing American power seen as a counterweight to Britain. In essence, the sale was as much about geopolitical balance as economic logic. Russia got the money it needed and rid itself of a problem territory. But in America, almost no one was pleased with the deal. Some legislators called it a waste of taxpayer money. The territory was seen as desolate, uninhabitable, and devoid of meaningful industry. There was no gold rush, no timber economy, and no ports of immediate value. After ratification by the U.S. Senate, the formal transfer occurred on October 18, 1867, in Sitka, with a modest ceremony. Russian soldiers lowered the imperial flag, and American troops.
That was the year that Congress changed the law on the creation of money and took the power of the creation of money away from banks and gave it back to the government.
Raised the stars and stripes. A handful of residents, mostly Russian Orthodox clergy and mixed heritage fur traders, witnessed the symbolic change. But in practical terms, little happened afterward. For nearly 2 decades, Alaska existed under a loose and often chaotic military administration. There were no clear laws, no local government, and no incentive for investment.
So
The
Marshall.
U.S. had stripped the surface of Western Alaska only in the bureaucratic sense, taking ownership but doing little else. Yet beneath that quiet lay a secret. The land was rich, not just in strategic value, but in untapped mineral reserves. When U.S. miners finally arrived in force, they would uncover what Russia had never looked for, and what they found would eventually leave Russia speechless. Stripping the surface. For years after the purchase, Alaska remained neglected, a military outpost, not a destination. That changed in 1880, when a Tlingit guide named Chief Cowie led prospectors Richard Harris and Joe Juneau to gold in the Panhandle region. This wasn't the first discovery, but it was the first to attract sustained attention. Word spread quickly, and within months, the town of Juneau was established, becoming Alaska's first organized gold mining settlement. This marked the beginning of a slow but deliberate shift. U.S. miners, drawn by frontier opportunity and liberal mining laws, began fanning out into river valleys and along the coastline. By 1884, Congress passed the first Organic Act, officially extending civil governance to the Alaska Territory and setting the stage for private claims and commercial development. Though federal presence remained light, the framework was now in place for what would follow. Most of the early operations were placer mining, scraping gravel and soil to extract gold, without the need for complex shafts or machinery. The process was physically demanding but relatively low risk. With a pickaxe, pan, and patience, men could quite literally strip the surface of western Alaska and pull wealth straight from the earth. Rivers like the 40 Mile and Yukon became hubs for small prospecting camps. Tiny settlements sprang up overnight and vanished just as fast. These early miners weren't organized corporations. They were lone adventurers, small syndicates, and seasonal laborers hoping to have a bit of luck. Few made lasting fortunes, but their presence steadily increased pressure on Washington to establish clearer property rights, enforce laws, and invest in infrastructure. Alaska was slowly but surely transforming. Meanwhile, Russia, having exited the territory nearly 2 decades earlier, paid little attention. Their official stance was indifference. They had sold a liability. The imperial government was preoccupied with expansion in Central Asia and industrial growth in European Russia. There was no strategic review of Alaska's actual resource base after the sale. If there was any regret, it wasn't publicly expressed. That began to change in the mid-1890s. Telegraph reports and shipping manifests told of more than just scattered gold dust. Shipments from Alaska ports to Seattle and San Francisco were increasing in frequency and value. The names Nome, Cook Inlet, and 40 Mile began to surface in trade logs. Something was happening. Not just individual strikes, but a pattern of resource flow. By the time the next chapter unfolded, triggered by the Yukon Gold Rush and the meteoric rise of Nome, what U.S. miners found was no longer a local rumor. It was a continental event. And soon, Russia, too, would take notice.
And regret they sold it to us.
Gold that roared across continents. The discovery that ignited the modern Alaskan gold boom didn't happen in Alaska. It occurred just across the border in Canada's Yukon Territory. In August 1896, gold was found along Bonanza Creek, triggering the legendary Klondike Gold Rush. Within months, tens of thousands of prospectors began the brutal trek through Alaska's coastal towns en route to the interior. Skagway, Daya, and the Chilkoot Trail became gateways. The U.S. Army, overwhelmed, rushed to build outposts to manage the chaos. But while most stampeders trudged toward the Yukon interior, some stayed behind in Alaska. In 1898, 3 Scandinavian miners, Japhet Lindeberg, Eric Lindblom, and John Bryntesen, found coarse gold along Anvil Creek near the Bering Sea coast.
Aha!
The nearby beaches of Nome were then found to contain vast quantities of fine gold, so shallow that it could be scooped by hand from surface sand. This was something new. There was no need for tunnels or dynamite, just shovels, sluices, and stamina. In the summer of 1899, more than 10,000 miners descended on Nome in what became a chaotic land grab. They stripped the surface of western Alaska with an intensity never before seen. The gold was so accessible that people panned in the surf line of the beach. Legal disputes erupted as claims overlapped or were outright ignored. Nome became the largest city in Alaska almost overnight. Tent cities sprawled along the coast. Saloons, supply stores, and speculators flooded in. Ships arrived weekly from Seattle and San Francisco, carrying news crews, investors, and military officers. What had been considered a barren wasteland was now a confirmed mineral jackpot. What U.S. miners found wasn't just rich, it was transformative. Within a few short seasons, they extracted millions of dollars worth of gold directly from the sand and stream beds.
One of the funny things about the gold rush is that very few people actually made any money from gold itself.
The United States Geological
That's a
Survey,
typical story.
USGS, confirmed the scale of the deposits. Some of the beach sands held as much as $20 per ton, a staggering figure at the time.
All right, anyhow, enough about that crap. Hey, what's up, Hunter? I got some other interesting stuff. That's some real cool stuff. New discovery happened in Florida. And
Welcome to We On Podcast, where we explore fascinating stories and ideas from various fields.
what's up?
In this episode,
Indy?
we dive into Florida,
Check this
where a
out.
lightning strike led to the discovery of a new phosphorus material. After lightning struck a tree in a Newport Richey area, a University of South Florida scientist discovered the strike led to the formation of a new phosphorus material. It was identified in a rock, the first time in solid form on Earth, and could represent a member of a new mineral group. We have never seen this material occur naturally on Earth. Minerals similar to it can be found in meteorites and space. But we've never seen this exact material anywhere, said geoscientist Matthew Pasek. Pasek recently looked at how high-energy incidents, like lightning, can trigger unusual chemical reactions, and in this case, result in a novel substance that is transitional between space minerals and the Earth's crust, as per the University of South Florida. When lightning strikes a tree, the ground typically explodes out, and the surrounding grass dies, forming a scar and sending electric discharge through nearby rock, soil, and sand, forming fulgurites, also known as fossilized lightning, Pasek said. When the Newport Richey homeowners discovered the lightning scar, they found a fulgurite and decided to sell it, determining it had value.
Take care.
Pasek
See you later
purchased
tonight,
it
Indy.
and then began an association with Luca Bindi, a professor of mineralogy and crystallography at the University of Florence in Italy. In order to better comprehend high-energy phenomena, the team decided to look into unusual phosphorus-bearing minerals, particularly those created by lightning. It's important to understand how much energy lightning has, because then we know how much damage a lightning strike can cause on average and how dangerous it is, Pasek said. Florida is the lightning capital of the world,
I've told you all
and
that
lightning safety is important. If lightning is strong enough to melt rock, it can certainly melt people too.
before. Anyhow, I'm moving down to southeast Alabama, northwest Florida area to make lightning crystal. And I came across this new discovery, and I was already intending on using rocks in my lightning experiments. So it just enthused me very highly that I might be partially responsible for the creation of a sustainable new mineral form of phosphorescent mineralized rock. And I just found that cool as shit. And that's why I sent Indy an email. That's what the email was about, Indy. It was about this that I just showed you. But anyhow, that was just a little side thing. Let's see here. Now we're going to go to... Oh, this is a good one. This one here is cool.
In the world, there is absolutely nothing better, nothing at this level. If you look at the combination of technology, the fact that these are not solid state batteries, they have advantages over solid state, they have advantages
What's up,
over
Pete Taylor?
lithium. They can be used in many different ways. They last longer, cold weather performance in every aspect. If you put them all together, this is currently the best battery technology
This is
on the planet. A battery company in the United
this.
States. Sandy Munro
Electric
has
Viking.
just visited their factory, and he was
The Electric
absolutely
Viking.
shocked by the batteries that they have unveiled. The fact that this technology can be used in
What's up,
all
Knackers?
different types of battery chemistries. It not only enables incredibly fast charging, but also the highest energy density batteries we've actually probably ever seen. 660 watt hours per kilogram. This enables literally a real world range of 1,000 miles.
Now we're
This is
talking.
not fake news.
There's a battery for
We're
electric
talking about
cars they just
Sandy
invented.
visiting the factory. And in addition to that, guys, yesterday, after Sandy Munro's video had already been published, this company just won a global award for how good their batteries actually
I told you new tech was coming.
Does this
I
mean
wasn't
that
buying.
the US might have a chance of catching back up to China? Probably not. But does it mean that one company in America has a chance? Absolutely. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. What's happening here? This is truly remarkable. The energy density here. Sandy is saying 24M have revealed these new batteries. It's not just the batteries, by the way. It's actually really the electrolyte, which is the remarkable part. This is not a solid state battery. Charging speed is 4 minutes to add 200 miles of range, 300 kilometers of range, 4 minutes. That's crazy. But they're saying that you don't necessarily need to have a 1 megawatt charger or a 1,000 kilowatt charger, meaning this charging speed is probably better than BYD's because it works better on 400 volt or 800 volt chargers. It can utilize the actual current better. So 660 watt hours per kilogram. But there's some other details on these batteries which are still blowing my mind. I'm reading all these reports thinking,
Thank you, ATM.
how did we not see this coming? Because this
I saw it coming.
It's just been awarded as being the best tech of the year for good reason,
Respect.
right?
I've told you about
Here's
it
the
for a
thing.
while. New
Solid
tech's
state
coming out.
batteries
It's gonna
have
blow your mind.
problems. They're expensive still.
I know about it. Not my school
Battery
dropout.
degradation
Why the
is a
hell doesn't
big
everybody?
problem still for solid state batteries. However, 24M Technologies in the United States has announced a new electrolyte called Eternalite that enables faster charging and improved performance in cold temperatures. And I mean massively improved performance.
That is
in cold
big time
temperatures.
important.
Lithium
Cold
batteries,
weather
when it gets to say minus 20 degrees,
Kills electric
they don't
batteries.
like it. But these batteries, no issues. The electrolyte achieves up to 3 times ionic conductivity of standard electrolytes, which allows ions to flow more rapidly between the battery's anode and cathode. This increased conductivity translates to a charge rate 4 times higher than conventional electrolytes, according to 24M. Charge rate 4 times higher. Now, I haven't seen this in person, but considering Sandy's been at this factory, checking out this technology, and then he's put out a video on this, it looks like it's the real deal. This means charging speed 15 to 80%. You can charge the battery from 15 to 80% in literally 5 minutes.
Wow.
And you don't need megawatt charging infrastructure. Megawatt charging infrastructure is extremely difficult. Finding a location where you can install a few chargers and have 1,000 kilowatt for each charger. That is, I have never personally seen a location like that. You'd probably need to install those kind of chargers next to a power plant, a solar farm, mega batteries. It'd be very, very difficult. There's only going to be a few locations really in every country around the world where that's going to happen. So what we need to do is find technologies like this that
New
have
technologies.
solutions where you don't need that kind of charging speed. Cold weather performance is a huge improvement as well, right? Conventional
what kills
batteries,
electric
they normally
batteries.
lose 25 to 30% of their capacity at 0 degrees Celsius, particularly conventional lithium iron phosphate batteries. The newer ones are different, but yeah, all of them lose capacity when the temperature gets cold. I'm sure you saw that storm in Chicago where it was just a bit of a nightmare. Anyhow, Eternalite retains essentially full capacity at 0 degrees Celsius and more than 80% at minus 40 degrees
Wow.
Celsius, minus 40 degrees Celsius. Contrary to some of
Jetsons
the
type stuff,
wild
indeed.
claims you might read in comments and on the internet, that's extremely rare, right?
It's
Minus 40 degrees
extremely
is
rare.
extremely rare. But even then, you're looking at 80% capacity. So if some
That's
crazy storm
outrageously
comes along
kick
and you're like
ass.
going, hell, I've got to get out of here, I need to get in my car, and then you're stuck in traffic, your battery's not going to just die. That's a big advantage. 24M's eternal light electrolyte breakthrough solves some of the biggest challenges of lithium-ion batteries today, said Aoki Ota, president
That
and
I do not
CEO
know,
of
Knackers.
24M. But guys, here's the thing, and here's what I haven't told you so far. This is actually
Some of
the
the
most
research for y'all
important part of this
if
news
you're
story.
interested, for sure.
Rapid charge, superior
It's
low
gonna
temperature
take over
performance and
the
great
industry.
cycle life with lithium metal and other high energy density chemistries. Eternal Light provides outstanding performance for applications ranging from EVs to consumer products. It paves the way for next gen batteries, including lithium metal, with 1,600 kilometer driving range and years of reliable performance.
Holy. And it goes 1,000 miles per charge. Now we're talking, you can drive across country because it takes 48 driving hours approximately to get across. So basically 3 days of driving. So you're not, and it's 2,200 miles approximately. So that's an electric vehicle that you could drive across country, park that sumbitch at the hotel at night, charge it up, it'd be ready for you in the morning, and you could go again. And it's not limiting you to 300 to 400 miles like the battery systems they have now that I think are crap. And that's the reason why I'm not supporting any kind of electric vehicle. Not only that, the bull crap they're telling you about China, you got to understand the Chinese government, man. The Chinese government owns every electric car vehicle in China. Every single one of them is 100% subsidized by the Chinese government. They had 37 of them. 35 of them went out of business. They've got so many damn electric cars sitting over gathering rust, having freaking weeds grow up through them. It's an environmental nightmare over there. They only have one electric car company that's in profit ranges, like BUY or BYU or something like that's the name of it. Not sure. And they're barely making a profit margin because of government subsidies. So this technology here is going to change the economics of the electric car companies to where they could be profitable instead of an environmental nightmare, which we will find out in a few years what I'm talking about when it comes to China and the environmental nightmare of all their excessive laying around electric vehicles, just rusting, not doing anything to recycle or anything like that. Oh, BYD, thank you very much, Knackers. Hey, what's up, William? Well, another thing that produces platinum is supernovas. And there's one going off right now in the, I believe it's in the Orion's Belt star system. And we weren't actually, no astronomer was actually ready for it to go off until the lighting of this one star that you had to have a real powerful telescope to even see. In certain areas of the world now, you can see it with the naked eye because it's like 10,000 times brighter because it's a supernova going off like 10,000 light years away from us. And we're still expecting Betelgeuse to go supernova too. And it's actually a key star in the Orion's Belt. And when it goes, it's going to, it's going to go supernova. It's going to blow up and disintegrate, go away. Very interesting. Not too familiar with that right now. I've been paying attention to OKLO and NNE for the micro nuclear reactor sector. Hey, what's up, Emilian? How's it going, my brother? You take care. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. I also sent Ninja, since you're here, part of the live stream I just did was on about 10 minutes ago, was on lightning strikes and the new mineral being created. I sent that to Ninja because when I met Ninja at the 2.5 years ago at the Silver Symposium, we sat down and had dinner and discussions. I told him about my ideas, what I wanted to do with lightning. He was real enthused about it. So I'm keeping him informed because I want him to be a part of it as well. Just to let you know, I've already spoken with him about it. So let's see, what else do I have? I have nothing else lined up. Those were the videos I had to run. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, don't invest in them. There's actually, if you follow NNE, they're coming up. Oh yeah, the micro nuclear reactors. Hey, what's up, C4? The micro nuclear reactors, you can actually turn them on and off, which you can't do with the big reactors. It takes like weeks to turn them off and power them down. Micro nuclear reactors, it's like a light switch, on, off, on, off. So it's a similar technology, just in a different area. And they're actually NNE. The reason why I like them is that they're coming up with a company for the transportation, the distribution, and collection of spent cell nuclear rods, and the production of the type of nuclear rod used for the micronuclear reactor is not the same type of rod. I actually believe they use spent rods. I have to check into that. I'm not 100%, but they're using a new type of fuel for the micronuclear reactors that's not nearly as radioactive and, like I said, easily turned off. But I'll check into the RTG. It sounds very, very interesting. Hey, you're welcome, Emilian. I want to keep you in the loop on this lightning crystal thing too. It's going to be very interesting, especially if I'm able to replicate what happened in Florida with the creation of that new mineral that's for the first time in history been found to be formed on Earth by a lightning strike. Nice, GMA. Hydro is a good source of power. It also guarantees that you have water. So it's a 2-for-1. You know what? Million. Oh, I thought you said Milton. Yeah, I've known about that. That's they came up with a contract with England for a moon base by 2030. It's probably being pushed off to 2032 now. But yeah, and that's the importance of the Chinese discovering H3 on the dark side of the moon. That means that they can use that H3 for a certain type of reactor, which is probably the reactor you're talking about, William. They'll be able to use H3 as a fuel source. So therefore, once that reactor gets to the moon for a moon base that you're talking about, that I've told a lot of people about, they'll be able to get the fuel from the dark side of the moon, process it, and use it, and it'll be a self-sustaining power source for the moon. And actually, infrastructure for the moon will be more sustainable than here on Earth. Isn't that weird to think about? Once we actually start putting some colony type stuff on the moon, the power generation of the moon will be a far more advanced as far as society ratings than here on Earth. The moon will be an instant stage 1 society where they get and use all the power and with no waste. And that's what the moon bases are going to start off with. A 0.10 society. Yeah, that's what it's called, 0.10. We're at a 0.8 society right now because we're not totally using all of our resources. We're wasteful still. That's why I say new tech's coming around. It's going to change that. You just saw some of it with the battery system coming out at the 1,000+ mile range with 5 minutes. It can get you 80% charge. But man, you could drive back across the nation with 3 drivers. Stop at a refueling station, load up on Cokes, Pepsis, and some snacks, and your car be 80% charged up, and you could go another 400 or 500 miles, and you could drive across the country with that one new battery, the technology of that one new battery. And then we've got there's so many new technologies that are going to be rolling out. I'm going to be rolling out a couple new technologies. I'm talking to the gentleman today. Actually, he's another one of Ninja's moderators, Pete the Sasquatch. He's actually heavily involved with several of my projects, getting them launched off the ground with the technical support of blueprints and CAD drawings and virtual walkthrough designs and stuff like that. So he's real involved in 3 of my projects, actually, which I'm actually happy. I like it when my subscribers actually get involved to make money. We're not making money yet, but he sees the potential. That's why he jumped on board. He's like, oh my God, yes, I want to be involved. I was like, sweet, I need help. So it worked out good. Nice. That's where, find a place where you're happy. That's why I'm looking to move out of California in the Bay Area. Since 1996, I have lived in an area where there are 57 cities side by side wrapping the Bay Area. I forgot what it's like to live in the country. I am so looking forward to moving to Alabama. Man, the catalyst of platinum in so many different chemical reactions for multiple uses of things that are needed for our stage of development of technological usage here on this planet right now is astronomical and fixing to increase. Platinum is going to be one of the most needed metals for the new technologies coming out that are going to be rolling out. That's why they're looking at asteroid mining, because at the base of every asteroid is your heaviest elements, iron and platinum. And I've mentioned that before in my live streams as well. Sorry, I had to get some milk for my tea. Sorry for that little bit of silence there. Yeah, so when they use the nuclear fusion rockets to go wherever and whatever as they pass by the moon, they can drop off the radioactive platinum and they can use it on the facilities on the moon, because the moon doesn't have any environmental rules or regulations. And containment of radiation is different on the moon than it is here, because the moon doesn't really have, it's got like 10% of the atmosphere, or 5% of the atmosphere of Earth. So therefore, it really has no environment. So it'll be a lot easier after we get the infrastructure to do all kinds of experiments for new technology on the moon. So you'd be devoiding all of the lawyers and special interest groups of all the money they can make protesting. And we can actually get somewhere as a society. That's one of the things I'm excited about as far as moon base, because you get around a lot of rules and regulations where people just do random lawsuits to stop you for stupid shit and personal reasons. But anyhow, yeah, platinum is very important. Platinum price is going up right now, just as I said it would. If you go back and watch some of my live streams 6 months, 8 months, 9 months ago, when I first started talking about clean air metals, I told you end of Q2, by the end of Q2 2025, you will see platinum going. The price of manipulation of price of platinum will be ending because of clean air metals. It's happening exactly as I said it would. I've been thinking about that, William, about a processing plant on the moon, and how they could just push all of the waste products from a smelter just out into space and let it just be consumed by the radiation and turned into another product on some other rock. And you would need some sort of an oxygen for a high temperature smelting unit. You could take that and compressed oxygen and just have like 100-foot long tube, and just every now and then shoot the compressed oxygen in that tube and blow all the waste contaminants of a smelting device into outer space, and the radiation of the sun would eat it up, and you'd have no problem. No, how I see it going is they'll just launch pods from the moon after they smelt everything on the moon. They'll just launch pods. They'll probably either go to a orbiting space station for verification of no contaminants, and then it'll be just dropped down to Earth, just like regular satellites, and then parachute, and then they pick it up until we come up with the materials and technology to be able to build a spaceship the size of Manhattan. Because you got to think the weight of that. It'd be easier to build it actually underwater. Assemble it underwater and then just pump all the water out of it. And you'd also keep it out of sight of humanity. So that might be going on as we speak. Well, they're actually, William, they're working on that technology now with the discovery. As I said, America consumed 2.5 sizes of Texas as far as land goes out in the Pacific, and made it basically all of the North American shelf in the Pacific. If it's part of the North American shelf, America just now owns it. The water above it can still be fished internationally, but all minerals and anything touching the soil belongs to America. Well, that's where those nodules were found that create oxygen at 2,000 meters below the sea, and the whole ecosystem down there, oxygen-rich atmosphere. And they've got companies, I think 17 companies it took to get together to be able to retrieve those little nodules of cobalt, magnesium, and something else, tons of mineral-rich stuff just laying on the ground. It took 17 companies to get together to come up with a device to be able to mine that low in the water, 2,000 meters, because of pressures and everything like that. That technology is the same technology that you would use for outer space. So if they're dropping down a little unit that's like a vacuum cleaner with a hose attached to it, which is basically what they're doing, more technical, but basically, and then they're just vacuuming up these nodules and then puffing up an air balloon, sending up the cargo space to the top while they vacuum up some more until they have to bring the machine up to refill it with their boxes to refill these nodules with. That same technology can be used to mine an asteroid, because Japan did an experiment 2 years ago where they landed a satellite on an asteroid, and they shot basically a shotgun shell into it to get a little deep hole, because their drill could only go like 3 inches, and they wanted to get as down deep into the core as possible of this asteroid. And when they hit this, it was like a little small tungsten rod that went out and hit this asteroid to cause a little impact crater. It damn near blew half the asteroid apart, because they found out that half the asteroids floating around aren't congealed together as one unit. They're just still micro asteroids all together because of gravity, but yet have not formed into one solid object. So if you had a vacuum system, you could go up and match the speed of a moving asteroid, take out your arm with the vacuum on it, vacuum up all the rocks, and just turn that thing into space dust within minutes. Haven't heard about any recent event. Okay, what are your thoughts on the recent Tesla robotaxi event? What event happened in Austin with the robotaxi? Did it get in a wreck? I'm not unaware of what's going on to have any thoughts on it. Sorry about that, William. But I brought you all a couple interesting stories tonight. I thought were pretty damn good. 4 of them. One of them, they've been. What are your thoughts on flying robotic taxi units in Dubai? They've had them for a year. Hey, what's up, Jay? Yeah, platinum's used in a lot of the new technologies that are coming out. It's the reason why China bought 2.3 million ounces of it last year, is to build 4 10-car companies. 2 or 3 different types of engines that have never been created before are going to be released later this year or next year, and they all need platinum, and platinum's a catalyst for a conversion of chemicals. So it's either going to be hydrogen, biodiesel, electric, or something. I don't know what types of engines, but they're coming up with 2 or 3 different power plants, and they all need platinum. And that's the car engines of the future. So they're going to need that much platinum every year. And we don't have that much this year. Oh, did I already tell you guys the platinum squeeze is on? Yes, I did. Hope you got some. And that also should tell you, if you have gold, when platinum was $900 and gold was over 3,000, you should have taken 1 ounce of gold and turned it into 3 ounces of platinum. Why? Try that now and see if you get 3 ounces. You don't. That means you would have made a profit. As gold's staying steady at 33, whatever, 100, not going up or down, you trade your gold in for platinum. Platinum's freaking jumping. You would have got 3 platinum ounces. Now you could have sold those 3 platinum ounces for $4,000 and made $700 profit while gold's not moving. Arbitrage, baby, arbitrage. I've been telling you guys about this stuff. When it was 3 platinum for 1 gold. I said, trade your gold for platinum. Best fucking financial move you can make with your money. As far as with PMs, there's not going to be a bigger move than that. Yeah, silver will go up, but it ain't going to go up as much as the arbitrage of gold, 1 gold ounce to 3 platinum ounces, and then take 1 platinum ounce, train it back for 1 gold ounce, and then you've got 1 gold and 2 platinum all off of 1 gold ounce. What's your profit margin? Whoa. More than fucking silver, baby. You guys got to learn how to play this shit. Yeah, I know, William. I actually was building part of a Pacific Gas and Electric. It's the PG&E. It's a power station out here in California. Building one of their new office areas, and their roads were like 4 times as big as any other road because they're going to have electric charging as soon as you go onto their property. Their trucks, their autonomous trucks, will automatically start charging while they're driving on the roads and parked. They will automatically be receiving a charge from what's underneath the road system as they drive in. So there's also going to be new ways to charge these autonomous vehicles that no one's talking about, but I've already built a couple, so I know all about them. But I'm more interested in the autonomous flying taxis that have been out in Dubai for over a year, and they've worked out all the kinks, and now they're going to bring it to America. So screw the autonomous driving vehicles. How about the autonomous flying vehicles? Which one's more dangerous? We obviously forgot about 9/11. You have an autonomous flying vehicle, it can be hacked and flown into buildings, obviously. I would not want an autonomous flying vehicle. Oh, well, now that right there is what they need in South Africa, because South Africa platinum mines are at 2,200 meters. Google what happens to the human body at 2,200 meters under the surface of the earth. Or at least Google what's the temperature of the earth at 2,200 meters under the surface. And then Google how much oxygen is down there. And then calculate how much money you got to have just to put one human 2,200 meters underneath the soil. And then ask yourself, well, shit, does that mean Clean Air Metals is going to make a lot of money because they did an open pit style gold mine to 400 meters where the base of the platinum vein is, to where they don't have to go down 2,200 meters. They actually just have to go down 1 foot before they start showing platinum ore. Look at the money they are saving. Woo. I would suggest investing in Clean Air Metals, because right now it costs $1,300 for South African mines to pull out an ounce of platinum. Yes, they've been losing money, and I've stated so. That's why I say buy platinum. So when Clean Air Metals starts pulling platinum out of the ground, it's going to cost them about $600 per ounce. And the 3 billionaires that own it, they really want to make their money back. So they said they weren't going to start pulling out ore until the price of platinum started going up. That's how I predict. And they told us the date that they were going to start pulling ore. That's the date that the platinum price manipulation ends. And before that date, platinum should start going up. That's exactly what's happened. $30 to $40 a share. Just like when I was telling you guys about, hold on a second here. That company right there, baby. Now let me go ahead and go to the chart. Okay, there's the chart. Let's see here if I can share screen. I know I can. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Yeah, that one there. See, I started talking about it right around here. And then it popped up. That's about 17, 18. I told a buddy of mine to buy it right around here. It was almost at 20. And now it's at 34. If you look at this right here, 666% all-time up. It started May 10th, 2024, and it's gone up 6 times as much as gold in less than a year, a little over a year. How you like them apples? I told you guys about that one. Oh yeah, I told you about that one too. Yes, yeah. See, I've been giving out some good calls to you people. I can't take advantage of them myself financially because I haven't been working the past year and a half, which is changing. I'll have a job next week or the week after that. Hopefully it'll last 4 to 5 months. And my whole financial situation will change because with all the research I've done and all the good calls that I fucking have told you guys about that I have not. Imagine if I had $2,000 and I could have put into there. I'd have damn near $18,000 now. I would not be nearly in the financial situation I am now. But there's other things coming. Algo, that thing's going to fucking 10x it easy. This is a crypto. It's part of the ISP 222. That one right there is going to at least 10x it. At least, maybe 15. I'd start buying some of that. And here's a ninja call that I agree with. ISO, my bad. Thank you very much, Jay. DGB, it's small time right now. I think of Bitcoin when a guy paid 20,000 Bitcoin for a pizza delivered to his house. When it first came out, it made national news. That's the level that DGB is at right now. So if you get like $100 of that and just sit on it for 10 to 12 years, you'll be a multimillionaire if everything works out right and there's not, geopolitical issues from some rich person who wants to change the world in his image, and which might happen. But bar all that shit from happening, DGB will be big. Has the potential of being big. Let me show you. As much so as BTC did when it was that small. There we go. That's a more correct statement. XLM is going to be awesome. I told Kevin the Weed Man, before Ninja was talking about it, I told Kevin the Weed Man, one of Ninja's moderators, I was like, Kevin, man, throw about $100 at XLM. It's fixing to pop. He threw $100 into it. And he's like, Neil. And he told Ninja, and then Ninja started talking about XLM. Then Ninja, and this is the thing about Ninja. If any of you guys watch Ninja, he'll tell you picks that are doing good and whatnot, and then he won't talk about them. He's not talking about them because your ass should be buying them. Because the next time he talks about it, it's going to jump, and you should already be loading up on it. That's his cycle of how he gives information. So when he's not talking about like XCN, for example, he should be accumulating it. Because the next time he talks about XCN, it'll probably jump up 60 or 70% within 50 minutes to an hour, and you can quadruple whatever amount you had because you were actually purchasing it while he did not talk about it. That's why he does, one of many reasons why he doesn't talk about things after he talks about them, and then he comes back later and talks about them. But let's see, you have XRP, XLM, Algo, HBAR. Those are all ISO 222 whatever compliant, which means they're like a equivalent to a secondary SWIFT system. So that way when BRICS falls apart, but they don't want to be part of the SWIFT system, they can still be part of the worldwide digital economy, for which the ones that crypto I just mentioned, XLM, Algo, HBAR, XRP, and a couple others are all already compliant with. That'll be the new SWIFT system for the digital marketplace, and it'll replace the BRICS system that they're trying for. Now, what are my thoughts on petroleum over the next 2 to 3 years? Increase, price, flat, decline? It's going to decline. And the reason why I say it's going to decline, because the Air Force has already put in an order for a micronuclear reactor for their Air Force base, because right now they're having to pull in diesel year round, have it shipped in. So if they get a micro reactor, they can stop importing diesel and other petroleum products, and they'll have a more sustainable year-round power without a supply chain. And they're not the only ones. Pretty much everybody out there on planet Earth that has to wait for fuel to come in by boat or by train or by plane or by truck will most likely buy a micro nuclear reactor and get off of the petro system, which means we'll have an increase of petroleum available to be used. Not only that, if you haven't heard me mention, China is creating a couple new engine types that aren't combustion engines, and they're going to be offered out to the public next year, which means there's going to be more people buying non-combustion engines than ever before. Even though we have an electric, it doesn't matter. People are being pushed on electric. These other ones you're going to want to buy. And there's going to be less people using combustion fuel, and it's a supply and demand curve. And quite frankly, out here in the Bay Area, we have 5 refineries. 2 of them have already closed down their gas production because they weren't selling enough gas, and changed over to biodiesel. And I know MSN hasn't told you about that, but biodiesel electric is one of the engine types that's coming out. It's a hybrid biodiesel electric engine, and it's not fuel, it's not oil, it's biodiesel. And if you know anything about Willie Nelson in Texas actually creates his own biodiesel, and you can go to his fucking truck stop and see it being made. So biodiesel does not need to be a petroleum product, and it is going to be one of the engines types along with the hydrogen electric. So we're going to have like 4 or 5 power plants rather than just 2 or 3 to choose from. And when you have more choices, less people will choose the combustion engine. And even if it only decreases 20%, that's 20% less of a need for gas and petroleum that we have right now. So as I've said in the past, by 2030, energy prices will be 75% cheaper than they are now, because of micro and small nuclear reactors. Companies, everyone's going to start buying them, and they're going to quit using the inefficient supply chain driven fuel that they use now to a more reliant, I don't care if the roads are knocked out or not, we still have power, micro nuclear reactor. And that statement I meant that if the people in North Carolina had a micro nuclear reactor, they wouldn't be without power right now. But because the roads got washed out, that washed out the power lines that they were reliant on. And see, people are going to get sick of that. And as soon as these micro reactors come up for sale, you can get a 1 megabyte reactor for like fucking a couple $1 million. Tell me a town of 10,000 people can't come up with the tax money to buy that, to get themselves off of the $1 million or $2 million they're paying right now per year for electric and maintenance and power outages down and fires that are caused from it. The use case for the micro reactor is going to spread like wildfire, and you're going to see power lines start coming down. What's up, my career? How are you doing? I have no idea what they are, but I can tell you this right now. Part of that budget percentage just got dropped because I did a report of the Alaskan Air Force Base already putting in an order for micro nuclear reactors, so they don't have to buy fuel. So the Pentagon's fuel budget over probably in 2 years will decrease by 20 to 30%. And that'll also decrease the American budget because they won't need as much money for these extra expenditures of fuel and the time, energy, effort, manpower, and machinery it takes to get the fuel to its destination. All that money savings will be coming out of that. That's dude, the world is changing. Time to make the changes. The world's changing, my friend. I see it coming. It's going to smack people upside the head. You're going to go, what the frill? Except for you guys, the ones who make 900% on Rolls Royce when I tell you about it. And those who bought into NNE. Those that are buying. Here's another good call for you. Google this, please. Someone in chat. Google this right now. Is the DEA and justice system working on decriminalizing medical marijuana from a class 1 to a class 3 felony? You'll find out, yes, they are. Since November 6th of 2024, the DEA and Justice Department have been working to reclassify marijuana from a class 1 to a class 3 felony. When they accomplish that, that makes it marijuana eligible to be used for medical reasons and industrial reasons. Hold on a second. Did Neil already tell you guys that there's going to be technological advances coming? If you look at hemp wood, you'll find hemp wood, when produced, is stronger than tree wood, It is mold and mildew resistant. Oh my God, how many people have mold in their house, right? Okay, so the 2x4s made of hemp are mold and mildew resistant, termite and pest resistant, and 2 to 3 times stronger than wood. And we can use 1,000 square acres of American soil to grow a hemp forest yearly and provide for more than enough wood need for the whole country. And we will not have to cut down another fucking tree on this planet for our wood needs as soon as the DEA and Justice Department complete their work of decriminalizing marijuana from a class 1 to a class 3. And another thing that's going to happen is Trump will be able to come up on national stage and say, I am going to make marijuana medically legal across the nation, because he'll have the legal right to do so. And since that was one of his campaign promises, well, shit, he's going to fulfill it just like all the others. So if you were to say, I don't know, look at some stock, medical marijuana stocks like, I don't know, MJNA or something, as soon as Trump makes that announcement, you'll see that motherfucker fly anywhere from 100 to 1,000x. This is not oh God, I got to put these up, guys, because I am not a financial advisor. Do that. Do that. To also do that, and also believe that. Having said all those disclaimers, buy that shit. You'll make money. You'll be able to pay off your house, get your vacation house, and have 2 rentals to pay for everything, so you won't have to work again. That's how much that stock's going to jump. But this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not take anything I have to say as financial advice. This is all only for entertainment purposes. Even though, just like, what is that? South Park with their predictions, or is that The Simpsons? It's The Simpsons. Just like Simpsons is a TV fucking sitcom of cartoons, but they're pretty damn good at predicting the future. That's what this show is. It's not a cartoon. It's kind of like a cartoon, and it's pretty damn good at making future predictions. And I have the subscribers that back me up. I'm making hundreds, 3, 4, 5, 6 times what gold's done. There's so many better plays out there. Gold, get it after you make money. Here's a thought. If you take $1,000 and say, like William said, his stock, it's gone up 900. So 900%. So you take $1,000, it turns into $9,000. Take 6,000 of that, 6,500, 6,600, and turn it into 2 ounces of gold. You still have more than $1,000 in the stock. So basically the gold's free. But yet you have 2 ounces of it because you got it from profit. It's not your original investment. Your original investment was still $1,000. You still have $2,700 in there. So you're still $1,700 up. And you got 2 ounces of gold. So that means they're free. That's how you buy gold. That's how you increase your wealth. And then you go to your next call and make another good call, and it goes up 7, 8, 900%. Then you buy a couple more for free. Then do it again. Next thing you know, you have 10 ounces of gold all for free, and they reevaluate gold. Pay off a house. It's all free. Because you still have your initial $1,000 investment. That's how you work life. I saw this one guy today in an uneducated economist chat. He was like, well, the only thing keeping you from being a baller right now is you. And he's 100% correct. Fear is the mind killer. Your mind. My mind, individually, fear will kill that. Do your research. If you're confident in your research, make the play. Listen to other people. Do research off what they say. If you're confident in the play, make it. Take that chance. It's really not a chance. I mean, if you've done your research, I throw guarantees out there. I guaranteed that NNE would go up. When my friend bought 10 shares of it, it's costing $200. He sold them a week later for $450. It went down. He bought 15 shares for his original investment. So he added 50% to his original investment by buying it when I told him to. He sold it a couple of days later when it went up significantly. Then it came back down and he rebought and he had more shares. And that is another way of increasing your investment. So now he has 5 free shares each one of those shares worth $33 because he with off of his same initial $200 investment. Yeah, basically Darth Vader mindset. Yeah, it's the Sith. That's where, you know. Oh man, if people just get right with God, you'll be okay, man. You'll be able to make so much more better investments. You'll have more clarity of vision. You'll know and be able to see the devil when he's around. But now's the time for everyone to prosper. For those that, you know, if you want to, it's the availability is there. I'm doing this for free. Okay, you're getting my knowledge for free. That's actually saying something, even though I'm just a dumbass on the other side of a freaking screen. I'm actually highly intelligent. More intelligent than most any professor you took a college school from, college course from. And I'm giving calls left, right, and center, man. I told you about OKLO. Fuck, that motherfucker jumped up to 65. Holy cow. And then the Air Force goes off and buys a micro nuclear reactor plant from them. I saw that one coming too. No, I want everyone to succeed, man. I want good people to have money because good people help people. Bad people don't. They spend it and do stupid shit like that Walmart lady. They do stupid shit with their money and fuck people's lives up. Good people do good things with their money. That's why I'm happy to help you guys make money. If you just follow through, do your own research on what I suggest to look at. And if it's right for you, get into it and make yourself some money and do good things with that money. And I pray to God you make lots of money. My course is set. I know I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to make shitloads of money. I know that's going to happen. And God's blessed me. I'm blessed. I'm paying it forward right now. I'm getting mine. I already know that. It's just not the right time right now. I will get mine. Yeah. Shit gets to your head, William. That's why I'm looking at houses right now in Alabama. I can afford what they're selling at a $200,000, $250,000 house. Fucking gorgeous. And then I see houses that are 110, 105, 115. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck do I need a more expensive house? It's just me. I'm not going to be throwing no fancy parties, inviting no governors over. And if I do, fucking get used to my house, man, or get the fuck off my property. I'm not, like Sean Diddy Combs. I ain't got to have the nicest. I don't care about that crap. That's Madonna crap. I don't care about that. I don't care about materialistic shit. Other than the fact that it makes people's lives easier and it makes people not suffer because they have the finances to take care of whatever it is that would have made them suffer. Other than that, I have no use for money. I'm going to start a living trust, and I'll keep my channel going. You guys will see what I'm going to do with my money when I get it. You'll be like, damn, Neil, you're throwing that shit away. I'll be like, no, it's not throwing away, man. It's really not. It's all in your perception. I'm sure I'll leave something for my nephews, but if those dumbasses don't want to fucking get in touch with me and fucking start learning some shit, ain't gonna get nothing much. That's on them. I made my play to get to know them. Their father stepped in the way. As they become their own men, they have a choice to make. If they choose unwisely, they'll be poor the rest of their lives and they'll die. No, knowing that they had an uncle that became a billionaire and left them shit because they didn't take the opportunity to get to know the motherfucker. I'll probably leave them a house or something. Something they can throw away because they don't have the right mindset and probably lose it anyhow. That's why you got to teach the next generation about economics and how to preserve wealth, maintain wealth, and grow wealth, and not just spend it and live high off the hog and treat everyone else like crap around you, which most rich people's kids do nowadays. I should live like Ninja. Live in a poor house even though you're a millionaire. You don't need that shit. It's vanity. It's one of them sins you got to constantly maintain. Now, how to overcome that? Again, do it ninja way. If he's going to get a Ferrari, he'll pay $20,000 for it. Well, that's a reasonable price for a car. If it just so happens to be a Ferrari, fucking right on. Oh, speaking of $26,000, let me see if I can't find this. Model T. Let's see if I got. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Now, you guys are gonna love this. I'm gonna share screen. I've been looking at that. These things, they're like between $26,000 and $36,000, bro. They're electric. I actually don't care for electric, but this one I actually do. This is the Ford.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives to my dorm room and built a Wix website to sell them.
Yeah.
2026
Here we go.
in the world of auto. That bell icon so you.
Sorry, guys.
Welcome back to Auto Insight, your go-to source for the latest and greatest in the world of automobiles. Today, we have something truly special. Ford has done the unthinkable. They've revived one of the most legendary cars in history, the Ford Model T, and reimagined it for the future. That's right, the 2026 Ford Model T is here, and it's bringing a unique blend of nostalgia and cutting-edge technology. So, if you're a fan of classic cars, futuristic designs, or just love hearing about groundbreaking innovations, stick around. This is going to be an exciting deep dive into how Ford is blending the past and the future in a way no one expected. Now let's get into it. The Ford Model T,
It's
a
an
name that
electric
carries
vehicle,
immense
too.
historical weight. Originally introduced in 1908, this car changed the world forever. It was the first automobile that the average person could afford, thanks to Henry Ford's revolutionary assembly line production. By the time it was discontinued in 1927, Ford had sold over 15 million units, making it one of the best-selling cars of all time. But here's the big question. How do you bring back an automotive legend without losing its soul? Ford has attempted something that many brands struggle with, reviving a historic nameplate and making it relevant in a completely new era. The 2026 Ford Model T is not just a tribute, it's an evolution. So what does this new version look like? What kind of technology does it offer? And most importantly, does it still hold the essence of the original? Let's break it all down. First things first.
Well, first things first, with the new battery technology that I just did the video on, and this not coming out till 2026, if they put that new electric battery technology in this Model T, 2026 Model T, you'll be able to drive. It'll be one of the first freaking cars you'll be able to drive across country, and it'll be badass if they do that.
Design. Ford had a massive challenge on their hands. The original Model T was famous for its simple, boxy, and functional design. It wasn't flashy, but it was built to be durable and easy to repair. So, how do you bring that look into the 21st century while keeping it futuristic? Well, Ford has managed to blend classic and modern design elements beautifully. The 2026 Model T retains a lot of its original shape with its tall stance and squared-off front end. But now it features sleek LED headlights, an updated grille, and a lightweight aluminum body that helps
Yeah, see, William, the problem is with Tesla, I don't fucking want to buy a Tesla. I want to buy a Ford T-Bird.
improve efficiency. Instead of a traditional internal combustion engine, this new Model T is fully electric, making it not just a nod to the past, but also a step into the future. The wheels, inspired by the old wooden spoke design, now have a modern alloy finish, giving it a retro-futuristic appeal. Another fun touch? Ford has included removable panels so owners can customize their Model T to have an open-air driving experience, just like the original versions that came without doors or roofs. Back in the day, the Model T's 20 horsepower engine was enough to get people around at a top speed of 45 per second, with, of course, that was fine for the early 1900s, but in 2026 things are a bit different. The new Model T is powered by a single electric motor, capable of producing 250 horsepower, which is a massive leap from its ancestor. It can go from 0 to 60 MeF in about 6.5 seconds, which isn't sports car fast, but it's more than enough for a city-friendly EV. Ford has also focused on efficiency and range. The new Model T comes with a 65 kWh battery pack, giving it an estimated range
Wait till you hear the price of this one, brother. You'll be able to buy 2 of them and have change over what it costs to buy a Tesla. Ford is going to kick Tesla's ass.
Of 280 miles, 450k on a full charge. It supports fast charging, so you
I'll
can
take
go from
another hit for you,
10% to
2 in a row,
80% in
support.
just 35 minutes. Another cool aspect is that Ford has introduced a rear-wheel drive layout, just like the original Model T, giving it a fun and engaging driving experience. There's also an optional all-wheel drive variant which adds a second motor for better performance in rough conditions. Let's talk interior. If you thought the 2026 Model T would be bare bones like its predecessor, think again. Ford has packed this car with modern technology while still keeping a minimalist aesthetic. The dashboard is simple but futuristic. Instead of traditional dials and buttons, the new Model T has a 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system that controls everything from navigation to climate settings. There's also a fully digital driver display that gives real-time speed, battery level, and driving data. Ford has also integrated voice commands and AI assistants, allowing drivers to control most features hands-free. Need directions? Just say, "Hey Ford, take me to the nearest charging station," and it'll do the rest. And let's talk about connectivity. This car comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, over-the-air software updates, and even a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot. But here's something special. Ford has included an old-school crank handle on the dashboard. It's purely for decoration, but when you twist it, it plays a recorded startup sound from the original Model T. That's a fantastic nod to history. Seating is designed for comfort and durability. The 2026 Model T features vegan leather upholstery, sustainable materials, and an open, airy cabin that maximizes space. Despite its compact size, the new Model T is surprisingly spacious, offering ample legroom for 4 passengers. Now let's talk safety. The original Model T had no seatbelts, airbags, or crumple zones, but obviously Ford has brought this classic into the modern safety era. The 2026 Model T is equipped with automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, 360-degree cameras for parking assist. It also includes Ford's Blue Cruise hands-free driving system, which allows for semi-autonomous driving on highways. Now, the big question, how much will it cost? Ford is positioning the Model T as an affordable EV, just like its original purpose back in 1900 AD. While official pricing hasn't been confirmed, rumors suggest it will start at around $28,000, making it one of the cheapest electric cars on the market. There will also be different trim levels, with the base model offering essential features and a premium model including more luxury touches, a larger battery, and AWD.
You hear that starting price?
So, who is this car really for? The 2026 Ford Model T is aimed at 1. City commuters looking for an affordable, efficient, and stylish EV. 2. History enthusiasts who love classic cars but want modern convenience. 3. Eco-conscious drivers who want an electric car without spending a fortune. Ford has done something remarkable here. They didn't just slap an old name on a new car. They reimagined a legend while staying true to its roots. It's practical, stylish, and packed with technology, yet still carries the DNA of the original Model T. And that wraps up our...
Man, that's just bad. It's like, you know, a Tesla for 60,000 or that one for 28. I'm sorry, I'm taking that one for 28. It looks so much nice. I'd look better in that than a Tesla. But yeah, and quite frankly, name recognition has a lot to do with sales. And Model T has been around for 117 years as far as name recognition goes. So they've got a jumping point for sales. They have a jumping point for nostalgia sales. And dude, I'd expect seeing the 50s movies remakes coming up in 2027 or 2028 because of that car. People will be driving around the mall again. I took another hit for you, C4. But anyhow, that's basically stuff I would like to have talked about or showed you and talked about tonight. I think we covered about a wide variety, range of topics. Unless you guys have something else, or if someone would like to come up, I'll probably shut it down here in about 6 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, I spoke with the guy Pete, moving a couple projects a little further on down the road. Actually, he picked up another project of mine to help move it down the road, or have it ready to be moved down the road when it's time. So I made a little progress. Right on, Mike. Thanks for coming back. Made a little progress on advancing a couple of my projects that need to be done over the next year or so. So even though I'm not working, I'm moving things forward, and hopefully get a job this week and start probably next week after the 4th, and work for about 4 or 5 months. Start making some serious investments. I'm going to be investing in MJNAE. Those are the stocks I'm going to invest in. Those are the cryptos I'm going to be invested in. And I'm also going to buy some silver and some platinum. I'll get some platinum before it gets to 1,500. Still be a good buy. But I'm going to be using it for jewelry. And I'm going to buy some gold too, but then again, I'm going to be using it for jewelry, not for, again, if I use 2 grams of jewelry, 2 grams of gold in my jewelry design, I charge as if it was 6 grams, because it's the typical 1 to 500% increase when you take precious metals, turn it into jewelry. So I'll be getting 4 free grams plus the 2 grams back that I spent on the jewel when I sell the jewel. So I'll be getting free gold. Everything I'm going to do is going to give me free gold. I'll never buy gold unless the first 2 grams will be the only shit that I buy. And I'd like to be able to find it, but that's not going to happen. I'll find it after I get this started. But some things go out of order. It's all good. It's no big deal. But anyhow, yeah, check into those stocks and those cryptos, and call me an idiot and everything else. And then next year, remember those stocks and those cryptos and say, fuck, I guess I was the idiot, not Neil. But anyhow, as I've said before, don't listen to me. Everything we say is to be taken as bullshit. This is for fun, not profit, or for your health, or to make you better looking. Although I hear if you put blindfolds on, it makes everyone better looking. Except for those people who have horrible voices. Can't really do much about that. Taking another hit for you, C4. I'm getting you stoned tonight, brother. Well, proxy, I'm getting stoned for you tonight. Boy, howdy. Oh, my God. That one there is a ringer. That is a ringer. If you look at that son of a bitch, if you have yourself an AI trading bot, and just do it doesn't show it on like a monthly chart or a yearly chart, but if you do like a weekly or daily chart, you'll see that son of a bitch jump up and down 50%. And if you have an AI trading bot going, man, that motherfucker can be a cash cow for you. Or even just look at it on, like a weekly chart. As a matter of fact, I'll break out the chart. Fuck it. I'll tell you what. It's been a while since let's see. SFRX chart. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Let me share screen real quick. And I'll show y'all what I'm talking about here. Okay, let me go back to full screen here so you guys get a better estimatizations of what I be is a talking about. All right, here, this would be what I be talking about. This one right here, it was at 0.0026. Now it's at 0.03. Okay, that's not good enough. 5 day. Give me 5 day. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, on the 23rd, it was 0.0025. Then it jumps up to 2.9. Then it jumps down to 2.7. Then it goes up to 2.9. Then it jumps down to 2.6. And then it goes up to 2.9. Then it drops down to 2.6. Then it goes up to, what is this? 3.1. If you can't fucking make money off a chart like that, especially with an AI bot. Now, see, when you go on a 1 month, it doesn't show the shit. It just shows 0. That's why I say you can't look at it for 1 month. Now, that looks promising. 10 cents. All of a sudden, a big bump. Huh. Yeah. 10 cents from, that's a 100x, 75x. Huh, nice. But anyhow, when a chart looks like this, here's at 30. There it is down to 25. Here it is up to 29. There it is down to 26. There it is up to 31. Chart looks like that. Even here from 26 to 29 or to 31, that's freaking 15, 20% in a couple hours. You're getting double-digit percentages on returns. You're doing good. And with these AI bots they have nowadays for buy, sell, trade, hold orders, all this other crap, I'm sure of course, you have to set it up right. People won't set it up right and lose their ass. But once you get it set up right and get the parameters and the definition of what you want it to do, you'll be able to make a hell of a lot of money just letting it buy and sell for you with the right stocks. You just got to find the right stocks. But back to Seafarer, if you look not only at the stock, look at the company's fundamentals. What are they doing? What are they all about? Then you find out, okay, well, they're coming up with underwater technology to discover non-ferrous materials under coral reefs. Well, what's the importance of that? Well, after Mel Fisher blew up coral reefs to find the Utosha and that $4 or $5 billion worth of gold, he had to blow up a lot of coral reefs, and a lot of countries got pissed at him because those coral reefs take thousands or hundreds of years to rebuild, and they lost a lot of tourist money because they got rid of it. He blew up the reefs. So no country allowed treasure hunting in the Gulf of America because they didn't want the reefs blown up. So what Seafarer Explorer does is they came up with an underwater technology to discover and accurately pinpoint where the non-ferrous material is underneath substances such as reefs, and then drill a 6-inch hole into the reef and be able to extract said ferrous materials without killing the reef. They are, okay, that's one cool thing. That right there, once they perfect that technology, every country in the Gulf of America will allow them to extract all the treasures that they know about that are existing. Yes, they are, Mike. They know where the treasures are. They're underneath the reefs, and they're not allowing anyone to get to them because it's going to destroy the tourist industry for that country. Once Seafarer Explorer gets their technology perfected, they will be able to extract that non-ferrous treasure, gold, silver, and whatnot, without destroying the reef. The country will get between 10 and 30% of that treasure hoard, along with whatever company is doing the extraction and whatever Seafarer Explorer gets. So their stock price will jump just through that alone. Now, if you look at the federal and state regulatory agencies have been working with Seafarer Explorer in the west coast of Florida, known as the Gold Coast, 30-mile range of a lot of sunken ships and treasures they found. Why would the federal and state work with that company, regulators? Then you look at Wall Street. That chart I showed you of 0, 0, 0, 0, not making any money. After 5 years of non-performance on the stock market delists you. That company didn't get delisted. It's worked, so it didn't get delisted, so it broke the rules of Wall Street because it's been non-performing for more than 5 years, and it's still listed. It's working hand in hand with both federal and state regulators to guarantee that when they are able to perfect their technology and extract all the treasures through 6-inch solar reefs, they'll be the only company that's doing it. So according to my estimation, that'll send that stock price soaring. And if you look at all the technological releases that are coming out, I'd say you got about a year before that happens. Probably less. Maybe a little longer, but most likely less. That's another good one. But anyhow, those are my calls, and I will stick with them because I am going to be purchasing them. So that's a disclaimer. I actually own some Clean Air Metals and in MJNA right now. I do not own NNE or SFRX right now. But I guarantee you, when I get money, as William will attest, I give people opportunities. If you take them, you can make a lot of money. I myself will take some of the opportunities I offer you guys, and I will keep you updated at how they do. And I can guarantee you about 80 and 90% of my opportunities that I'm going to take will pay off. And that's why I'm listing the ones I'm putting down there. I mean, some of them for sure. Actually, on the stocks, I'm going to get so many MJNA, I'm just going to sell them for profit and buy shit with it. The NNE and Clean Air Metals, I'm going to hold those for dividend payoffs. There you go. And that's beautiful. Most excellent thing to be doing. Yeah, Clean Air Metals and NNE, eventually I'll be paying dividends. So the more shares I get of those in about a couple years, I'll be making money, residual income off those two. The MJNA and the SFRX, I'm buying them just to basically sell them to make money. And when it comes to the crypto, I'm pretty much just going to I'm going to just kind of buy and hold and, because I'm not going to need to sell them because I'm buying those two other stocks, the MJNA and SFRX, to make money off of, to sell. And I can get like several 100,000 shares of both for like $1,000. So if they go up to $1, I got a couple 100,000 shares. Yeah, I'll sell half of them and pay off a house. Fuck yeah. So why do I need to sell anything else? Not then at that point in time. Then, of course, businesses I start, so I probably won't sell them at all. I'll just keep adding. Until I see a time for a market shift, which I won't. I don't suspect that'll happen for a quarter century, 25 to 30 years. So I'll probably leave in my will, sell the crypto probably 2050. Before 2050, and get into whatever the new thing is that they're going to bring around once they have established the digital economy after about a 25-year time period, and allowing financial institutions to create stable coins as currency in America, replicating the 1836 to 1862 economy, where Congress allowed banks to create their own dollars. It was a good time for the American citizen, but it'll come to an end too in about 25, 27 years. So I anticipate 2050, 2052 will change into a new system. I'll be in my 80s by then if I'm still alive, but I'll be looking to shift before the 2050s into whatever new is coming at that time. No, I'm going to be ending this stream soon because Independent Mini's coming on in 13 minutes. And actually, I got to end it pretty much right now. I'm going to end it because I got to go do a backstage with her. So I appreciate all of y'all. I do hope that more than just William has made money off of calls I've mentioned. Again, do your own research, but do them on the calls that I make, because the ones I make are good calls. It's not vanity, it's fact. I put a lot of time, energy, and effort. It's not just hey, let me take a shit and see what comes out. Oh no, this one this week because it's stuck to the wall. Nah. Fundamentals, technicals. Yeah, I do my research. The way the countries are going, the way geopolitics is running, the way the world's turning. I do my research. I expect you guys would do your research before you invest. But as William can attest, he's up 900% now. So, and what, it was like a year and a half ago I gave him that. But anyhow, you guys have a great week ahead, a great work week, and we'll talk before the 4th of July. Have a great one. See y'all later. Bye-bye.